Here we go. Okay, it's all about hips today, y'all. And when it's about hips, it's going to be about other things because if you're heading for a hip replacement, if you've had a hip replacement, if you just have some arthritis and uncomfortableness in your hip, it may be coming from your back, who knows? You still have to figure out how you're going to get yourself up off the floor. Okay, so we're going to do that, but we're going to ready our hips up and we're going to start in the chair. So get your chair ready. Okay, so I am going to use this pad some very important ways today, but right now I want to be able to move around on my chair with my butt. Okay, so I'm going to come find myself in the chair, and before you even start stretching, what people would normally do for stretches, before you even do stretches, you have to move your hip a little bit. And it may be, especially if you're bone on bone, you have arthritis. Do you see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing? Look at this. Oh my goodness. Number one, hip hinge forward, hip hinge back. Okay? You're going to find there's a certain place that's going to get your attention. So I'm going to open my legs. I'm going to hip hinge forward. I'm going to hip hinge back, and there'll be a certain point. Those of you with hip issues, if you have a hip replaced, yeah, you can't feel it. However, if you can't feel pain because you have a replaced hip, you still have to address that the muscles around the hip. One of the best ways I know of, if you find yourself sitting around, just come forward. And when you're in this forward position now, after you've gone forward and you've come back and you've gone, oh, I feel it right there. Okay, come forward, put your elbows on your knees. And you see I have my toes pointing out just a little. Okay, they're not straight forward. They're out just a little, but my knees track over the toes is the point. My elbows are on my knees. This positioning is very, very beneficial if you'll learn to do this position correctly. From here, I'm going to go and put my elbow on opposite elbow on opposite leg. But here's what you don't do. See, the minute you put your elbow here, number one, you've raised your shoulders. So take a big breath, drop your chin, and drop your shoulder. As you put the elbow on here, don't let your knees come in. Keep them wide, okay? Just like this. And you almost have to push against this force right here, a little. And as I'm turning, and I keep that leg open, and I come deeper, and I look, then I come back up. Then I come back down and I do the same thing. See, I'm going to come over here, and the first propensity is for you to drop in your knees. Don't do that. Keep them wide. Keep your back extended. Put the opposite elbow on top of the opposite knee. Keep this leg open. Don't let it cave in. If you will do this, drop your shoulder, open those knees. Now come a little deeper. You're going to feel a really good stretch right here in your groin, okay? In your adductors. So this is about working your flexors, your extensors, and your adductors and abductors. And we're doing it from a chair, okay? I hope you're getting that, because there's going to be so many times when you don't feel like standing up and walking around or doing a bunch of stretches that we typically do. Do you see what I just did? I straightened my back, and then I walked around on my toes. Then I put my heels down, and I walk around. Okay, if you do this, you might think this is silly. I'm telling you, make sure that you have a chair that doesn't have a sticking cloth Okay, if you do, if you can take the thing off there, it's going to be harder if you have a chair pad. Do you see what I'm doing? So when I do this from my heels, as I'm walking around, I want to stay open right here. Some of you want to bend in when you're doing this. Don't do that. Open back and walk around with those adductors and abductors. And see, when I'm on my heel, it's quite different than doing my toes. So now I'm going to go toes. Before I walk around on my toes, though, I'm going to go heel toe. See that? And here's the thing you should catch. Number one, my shoulders are down. Okay, did I say that? My shoulders are down. I'm opened a little bit right here at the hip hinge. So as I'm doing heel toe, I'm not doing them together for a reason, okay? So before I go back around on my toes, I'm gonna do this heel toe, open at the hip, take big breath, and I'm doing them one at a time. You can do them quickly, but do them one at a time. Stay open right here to where you have just a little bit of tautness or tightness in your tummy. Because when you open just a tiny bit and you say rib cage up, oh my goodness, you have started some great work for your abdominals and your back, okay? Now I'm gonna add the hand thing. So I'm still doing, before I go back around on my toes, I'm gonna add the hand thing, okay? So I'm gonna come down like this, and I'm gonna go same thing with my hands. I'm gonna go down, down, up, up. So I'm toe, toe, hands down, heel, heel. Now after I've done that a couple of times, and you've really put a tiny bit of pressure on the front of your feet here, now you want to dig in with your toes and push off your toe. Stay open right here. Stay open right here, okay? And then come back. See, I'm on my toes. Okay, now go heel, heel, toe, toe. Heel, heel, toe, toe. Wrist down, wrist up. See? Stay open. Take a big breath. Drop your shoulders. Wrist down, wrist up, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe. Now put pressure on the toes and dig them in and pull yourself all the way around, okay? So this little maneuver right here gets activity. It gets motion through here. You have to stay stable with your back, and it starts warming you up gently, okay? Once I've done that, I've done the heel toe, I've gone around, spun around on my chair here. Take a big deep breath. Now I'm gonna drop that knee. Yeah. So here's the thing. You can do this laying down or sitting down on the floor. Yeah, you can do that. However, if you have wonkety hips, if you can just work your way through to this point before you get up and walk around and try to ambulate around, okay, now I'm going to start working the upper body, because now I'm able to really point that knee down. See how I'm staying open? Yeah, that's important. Drop your shoulders, take a breath. Now grab your chair. Now really look over your shoulder, okay? Take a big breath through the nose. And now here we go. We're going to turn and go opposite knee down. Open at the hip. Open at the hip. Drop your shoulders. Really drop your shoulders. Pull back. You're pulling yourself around. You're looking as far over your shoulder as you can. Great. You do this a couple of times, okay? So that you get that hip motion. It's a ball and socket joint. And many of us just go forward and back, and we don't do any of the rotations because A, it might hurt, or we just are wanting to kind of stay quiet and not move a lot because we don't want to kick anything up, which I understand. So after I've done that now, I'm going to open my legs. I'm going to grab my chair. If I need to help myself past a sticking point, this is where you use your hands back here. But when you use your hands, you drop your shoulders. You tighten in the tummy, you hip hinge, and when you go to stand up, you push into the heels. Even though I'm barefooted, whether you have shoes on or you're barefooted, you want to shift that weight into the heels because you're going to release your butt. When you release your butt, you're going to have to tighten and you're going to have to push down here. So drop your shoulders, come right here, give just a tiny push right there, and then come up with your legs and then bend one knee forward, one knee back. See, I'm not going to do a hard stretch on that hamstring. So I'm doing a little thread the needle type concept here. See how I'm bending one knee, pressing one knee straight. Take a breath. So we're going to do this gentle stretching, gentle stretching, gentle stretching. Then we're going to sit back down. You know why? Because that might get you a little dizzy. And I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody tell me either about themselves or about a relative or a friend. They just got up and they fell right in the floor because you get a little dizzy. So this is why I want you to do this move without standing up. You have a chair here. You can hang on to it. But this move with your shoulders down, shifting properly from your toes to your heels, making sure your back and your hip is staying in a nice hip hinge motion. We're going to do it again, and then we're going to sit down. We're not going to stand up. So don't fear too badly to really drop your head down for just a few seconds, okay? Okay, don't cave on the knees. Here we go. We're coming right here, rib cage up, shoulders down. Take a breath. Come up. When you're in the up position, you're going to bend one knee and straighten one knee. And you're keeping your head down. You see my hands are right here to stabilize. You see this move? Don't get too worried. You're going to feel the blood coming into your head. So the people who I would caution on this, and even that, you can still do this maybe a shorter amount of time. If it's really disconcerting to you, you know, everybody has to deal with their position in space, okay, and how it's affecting them. But I'm telling you, this motion, as we're coming up and we're doing this kind of thing, I can drop my head straight down. I'm hip hinged. I got my hands on my chair, back and forth, then sit back down. Let it settle down. That move, you will build up a tolerance, a kind of a training for dropping your head. Maybe you can only do it for 1 second. Maybe you can do it 5 or 10 seconds. But if you just go sitting back down, you will have gotten all those moves to help your body prepare for more moves, for walking around without problems, okay? And if you have hip issues, you're getting physical therapy, or because you have back or hip issues, these are some of the moves that we quit doing, okay? A, we're a little bit afraid. B, we don't want to hear, feel the, discomfort. And I'm trying to show you some moves that are highly effective in how you move through your world, okay? One of them is keeping your balance, and you have to keep stimulating that inner ear mobilization, the inner ear, the vestibular system, okay? So here I go. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go back, okay? So now I'm going to sit all the way to the front of the chair. And when I go back, I'm going to go way back, okay? But I'm going to hover right here. Do you see how I'm going from one side to the other side? See that? I'm not turning. I'm not twisting. I'm dropping my shoulder back and touching. This is taunt Then I'm coming right here and I'm dropping the other shoulder back. I'm keeping my chin tucked. I'm taking a big deep breath. Touch the shoulder. Come up a little. 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 Take a breath. It's going to make you start breathing. You know why? Some of you are actually holding your breath. So don't hold your breath when you tighten or brace. See, my back is very extended, whether I'm forward or whether I'm back. Okay, I'm very extended in my back. Take big breaths. I come here. I turn, touch the shoulder. Keep this really braced. Turn, touch back. Take a breath. Again. Take a breath. Again. Okay? And you'll start breathing. You'll start going, I'm not doing that much. How come I'm needing some air? Take a big breath through your nose. Exhale. Touch. Breath through your nose. Exhale. Touch. Breath through your nose. Exhale. Touch. Then you won't get to that, to where you have that air hunger, like you're not breathing enough, because you're actually holding your breath. So this simple move is so helpful with your breathing, with little spells of dizziness. A lot of times it's from not breathing. Okay, so right here, see, I'm doing the effort. I exhale, then I come up, breathe in, open back, drop your shoulders, exhale. And you should feel this. If I came into you right now, into your room, and you were doing this move, see, I just turned just a little bit, and I want to go back here and touch my shoulder. Keep my chin tucked, breath, exhale. See that? I would poke you right here, because I want to see that this is being used. This is such a great move. You could do this when you're in some stinking meeting that you're so bored to tears with, or you could do this when you're in church and you're so wanting to be outside digging in the flowers. See, just bend yourself back, take a breath, keep this moving, keep this bracing. This is bracing. When I say moving, it's contracting. So you're doing that all important kind of a cross between an isometric isotonic, because you're holding. This is the stability mode. And when you turn and you press and then you come up, take a breath, exhale, touch on the other side, take a breath. Now we're ready to move it on up. So it's going to be addressing this issue right here. Take care with your back. I'm going to lift a leg and bring it down. I'm going to lift a leg and I'm going to bring it down. Now, because I said I'm going to lift a leg, many of you stayed in this position and you rounded your back and you did this kind of a thing. Don't ever lift your leg when you've rounded your back. Okay, that's rule number one. When you're doing any kind of work in your chair, I see a lot of these chair things that they're presenting, and they do all the stuff with their arms and legs, and they don't ever talk about making sure your position is good. See this? Yeah. Yeah. So when you lift this leg, this goes back. This tightens. This is really bracing. And I'm going to go point flex, point flex, point flex. The knee is coming up. And this is working. Take a big deep breath. Go to those elbows. Go all the way back. Here we go. Bring that up. Okay. If you have a significant hip issue, I can tell you, I can feel this right now, right here. But it's not an intolerable feeling. I know it's because of the arthritis doing its dastardly deeds in my hip, but it's my responsibility to be able to move in such a way that I keep stimulating the muscles, tendons, ligaments around that hip. Okay. So now I'm going to open back, capitalize on this movement, put my hands right under here. I'm going to bring that knee into my shoulder. Now I'm going to extend that leg. But you know what I'm not doing? I am not rounding my back. I'm taking big deep breaths. I'm bringing that leg in, point flex, circle, circle, circle. Do not round your back. Then I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to bring it down. Okay. Come into your elbows. If that was pushing you on your back, come into your elbows just like this. Turn and look. Turn and look. Great. Get ready to go to this one. Because pretty soon we're moving into crossing over with our leg, which gets a whole different part of the musculature in your back, etc. So we're going to open back. Okay, so when you open back, what do? You extend your back. You open at your hips. You say rib cage up, chin tucked. Take a big breath. Bring that knee up so I can really feel this right here. I'm going to put those hands under there. That helps. Okay, drop the shoulders. Bring that knee in as far as you can. Do not round your back. Bring that leg up as far as you can go. Take a big breath. Way up there. Point flex, point flex, point flex. Take a big deep breath. Point flex. Around and around and around and around. Point flex, point flex. Bring it back up. Bring it back down. Okay? Take a big breath through your nose. Yeah? Right here. Keep your shoulders down. Now, put one leg forward, one leg back. We practiced this the other day. This is a very good move to remember because sometimes you just feel your muscles are like, I know they're leaving me, but I don't know what to do about it because I got this hip thing or I got this back thing. I don't know what to do. Well, here's one of them. Okay. Number one, I'm going to open back. That's number one. Keep breathing, open back, and I'm going to just extend. See this? I'm just extend my lower leg. See that? But I'm not just standing up here going like this, and then that tends to make me round my back. No. I'm going to open back until I feel what? Yes. Racing. Drop. Breath. This is open. Now I got my toe up in dorsiflexion. Now I'm going to just extend and I'm going to squeeze this muscle. This is where if you wanted to add weight to your ankle, you could do that. So this is our mobility day, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not putting the weights on, but I want you to know this move. If you had your little leg weights sitting next to your chair, you'd have to remove it from your doorstop because it's probably being used as a doorstop, and put it by your chair, and you do this, okay? So if you just go back just a little bit, drop your shoulders, take a breath, bring it up here, squeeze this muscle, and then come back. See that? See, it's in dorsiflexion, point flex, and come back. So this is one of the times where I want you to go really straight with your legs, okay? So if I go back, I still haven't changed yet. I'm still on this one. And I'm going to bring it up here because I want to get a full rotation all the way out in the whole range of motion for this knee. That's number one. I want to open back because I want to put really good positive pressure through my back and my abdominals. So I'm going to go to the heel and I'm going to go up. This is squeezing. I'm taking a breath, taking a breath, taking a breath. You should feel this starting to heat up, okay? So again, here's one of these moves that you could do when you're sitting in some super boring meeting. Just open back and just go like this under the table. You can do it. You can do this. See, nobody would know. Take a breath, just open back a little bit and do this until you can squeeze right here. Keep your toe up in dorsiflexion, okay? And then when you're ready to put that leg down, just put the leg down and come in like this. Now I have this one back here for a reason. I'm not done yet before we switch. This one is out. That's why I started with this one first. Okay? Because the moves I'm doing is going to be very different. And then we're going to switch. See how far back this leg is? Yeah, this is my knee replacement. So I can only go back a certain amount, okay? Everybody's knee issues, when you have a replacement, it's always a little different. Some people are very tight, some people are not so tight. Mine gets pretty tight at this point. That's why it's very important for me to know this move that I'm going to show you. And we've done this one before. So I'm going to act like I'm going to stand up, okay? I have this leg back here. This leg is in front. So I'm going to hip hinge. I'm going to use my hands here, drop my shoulders. I'm going to put pressure in my whole foot. That's going to come up and make me use these muscles in a pushing kind of a way because I'm pushing myself up. Does that make sense? So this one's here, out in front, hip hinge. Now put pressure and use your hands if you need to, but you know where the pressure is really? Boom and boom. Do it again. Drop your shoulders. Listen, I understand there's all kinds of stuff out there hitting this and doing. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. I'm taking the time to actually do this move with you enough times to really make you feel the muscle that you're trying to stimulate. So this foot's out, this foot's back. I'm gonna use my hands a little. Drop my chin. Okay, get ready. You're gonna push on the whole foot. You're gonna push up, up, and then go back, up, and then go back, up. See, it's not hurting my knee at all. But man, do I feel it on those muscles around the knee, in my gluteal. So push into your foot. Push into your foot. Use your hands a little, not a lot. Breath, breath, and then sit back down. You should have felt this right here, from here up, just heating up and here, okay? Take a big deep breath through your nose. Yeah, make that diaphragm come out. And guess what we're gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna switch. So I challenge you, anytime you find yourself sitting in a chair somewhere, I don't care if it's to just go play games with people, I don't know, watch a program, eat. If you're sitting in a chair, put one foot in front of the other, like this. They're you know, shoulder width. Hip hinge forward, okay? And just kind of do this, kind of see how this is working. I will guarantee you that if you just did this right here, these series, this right here, all the other stuff, yeah, that's good. But if you're sitting somewhere where a lot of people are around, you probably don't want to be doing a lot of the stuff we did before. However, this one, anybody can do this. Just bring your legs open. See? Open back. That's important. Just a little. Take a breath. Okay, now bring that up and then squeeze this. See, you can bring this leg up all day long. You can just kick it, kick it, kick it. Never even innervate. I'm trying to get you to really feel and the innervation of how to tighten your muscles. Okay? And when you put it with a movement like this, it's great. See, I can point flex, but if I bring my heel down, see, my foot's in dorsiflexion, but what's happening here? See, shoulder, hip, they're in line. This is braced a little, and I can do this. This is my knee replace side. So when you come up to here, you want to really squeeze this, okay? I know it. A lot of times we just gloss over some of these very, what seems to be innocuous moves, like, well, that doesn't matter. This does matter, especially if you have your knee replaced, because now we're not loaded, but we're getting a full contraction squeeze, get my toes up. I can point flex anytime it gets too tight. It's very important to get those front shin muscles. It's a tibialis anterior muscle if you need to know that. And then watch the way your knee is going, okay? Yeah, it might feel a little clunky sometimes. You got parts in there, okay? You got a fake knee. You got to figure out how it's going to move and how it's going to feel. What better way than to get in this position to really challenge your abdominals? Take a big breath. See how I'm just continually, and every time I come up here, I squeeze this really tight. Yeah, and then when you're tired, you're going to feel it. It's going to get tight. Just stop and come forward, okay? This one is still back here. Just come forward. That's okay. Just release. So after you do that, you're open back, and you can go straight up and down. I'm trying to capitalize on this move. See, I'm holding it up here, but then I want to really contract to this. Right here. Yes. So you can do this many times. So back to what I was saying. If you would put your legs just in this position, just do this a couple of times. See how I move back? Because you know what happens? Let me show you what happens. Some of you are getting onto this and you're saying, okay. And then you come in here, you're leaning in and you try to lift and you jerk yourself. So I want these moves to be very smooth. So that means you got to open back, drop your shoulder, and do this. See this? If you have a replaced knee, if you have feet issues, ankle issues, plantar fasciitis issues, if you have hip issues, I'm showing you a move that then when you take your first steps after standing up, oh my goodness, it's not going to be those stiff, out of balance, weirdo steps anymore. Okay, just this. See, and then I've taken you into a little more deep thing where it's a one-legged press up. So now we're ready to do that. So this is the leg that's out. This is the leg that I'm going to push into my foot. Okay, so you don't want to be on your toes on this. You want to put your whole foot down. You know, yeah, it will be hard to press into your heel here. It's supposed to be. I want the whole foot. So once I've done that now, I'm going to go and I'm going to act like I'm going to stand up. So that means I'm going to put all my pressure in a pushing down, okay? Drop your shoulders, take a breath, don't hold your breath. When you get ready to push yourself up, keep your shoulders down, use a little pressure on your hands, a little. I want most of the pressure to be this leg. Got it? Breath, come up, push straight up, and come back down. And if you have to go ahead and sit, that's okay. Get the feeling. I want you to get it here. It's going to be right here, and that's going to be gluteal because you're pushing into the whole foot. Push and back down. Push and back down. Don't go fast. Take a breath. Push up. Push straight up. Keep that other leg straight out there, or as straight as possible. Keep your chin tucked. Don't use your arms. Don't use your arms. Use your foot. Yeah. Breath. Push into your foot. Push into your foot. Do one more. And then come down. Okay? Now, since you did all of that with me, go ahead and we're going to stand up now. As if we were sitting someplace in a meeting somewhere for, an hour or something like that. Number one, there's a problem if you're sitting more than an hour. Here we go. Hip hinge. Push into your feet. Take a step. Take a step. Oh my goodness. You do this test every once in a while. I'm telling you, there are ways to get your legs, your hips, your knees working while you're seated. Okay? So I'm just going to do a little review. Front, back, toe up. See this? See? Heel, 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 heel. Switch right here. Heel, 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 heel. Press in, come back down. Switch, press in, come back down. Switch, drop your shoulders, take a breath. Press into the foot, but don't stand up. See, press into that foot. Use your hands a little. Just do that a couple of times. Then stand up and take those steps. It's a huge assist. Okay, before we hit the floor, and we are going to hit the floor, okay? Why? Because I'm going to use some of these same motions, and we're going to be in the floor. If you don't want to do them in the floor, that's fine. Do them in the chair. You're still going to get good benefit. So what I'm going to do is take my hand right here and my hand right here, and I'm going to step into my little pad. Okay, so it's just like this. See that? And I'm going to push into the floor. See that? And then I'm going to come back down to the heel. I'm not even going to take my foot off the floor. Let me turn it to the side so you can see better. So I'm right here. I'm going to step. Opposite hand goes up. That's very normal. Okay, and I'm going to act like I'm going to step up on that pad. This hand goes back. Okay, this hand goes way back. Drop your shoulders. This hand's up. Now come up to the toe. Now put pressure in that foot just like we did before seated. Okay, I'm not going to bring the leg up. I'm going to go right back down to the heel and right down. See that? Then I'm going to switch. Other hand is going to come up. This hand's going back. Yeah, it's like a push-pull. Yeah. Then I'm going to act like I'm going to take a step. See, I'm on my toes, but then I'm not. And I go to the heel. Okay. If you can burn this move in your brain, and if you can't burn it into your brain, pull this recording up and go over this. Like, if you can get to where you can do 10 to 12 of these, we're going to do them right now. So do them with me. So I'm going to go here, put this hand back, drop my shoulders, and where am I going to push? Straight down, lift that heel, boom, right there, tighten, and then I'm going to hold and come back down. Then I'm going to switch, okay? So here I am, just like I took a step, okay? I'm going to go up, back, push down, and only come to the toe there. See, you're lifting to the toe. Yeah. So some of you, this is where you need to work. And you need to work here to where you can get 12 to 2 sets of 10 solid steps. See? Push down, go to that toe, tighten, drop your shoulders, breath. Here we go. Opposite, opposite. It's up, it's back. Press down. And see, when you're pressing down here on this one, and I'm using a move that you're very familiar with. Stepping up a step, taking a step. Spread your toes. Push on your whole foot. And act like you're going to release the back foot, but you don't. Then step back down, okay? I'm telling you, if you forgot everything else and you just did this on a little pad, barefooted, opposite, opposite, back, okay, drop, take a breath, press to the toes, hold it, 1001, 1002, 1003, come down, switch, switch, take a big breath. You're getting all the components of moves that benefit your balance, your feet, your ankle, your core, and you're working through knee issues, back issues, hip issues, Shoulder, see how I'm pulling this back and I'm pulling this up? I'm pressing down with my toes very, very splayed. And then coming back down. And I'm putting gentle pressure on the back toes in a very flexed position. See this? See this? See this? Then I come back down and I come back down. Of course, you can make this a more challenging thing, but you do it in front of a wall. And you come here and you lift. See that? And you come down and you come down. But you don't go to this until you can do at least 12 and maybe 2 sets of 10 very controlled to your toe, down and down. Step, tighten, drop, breath. So this is in front, opposite hand is in the other front, this is in back. You go way up here, you lift yourself to your toes. You get to where you can do that and hold it for those 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. See, opposite, opposite, tighten, drop, take a breath. Here I am, hold. My knee is soft here. I'm pushing into the whole foot. My toes are splayed. You got to work at this. You could do this no matter what's going on, okay? Boom, front, opposite, front, back. Go to the toes in the back, press, open your toes, open your toes, open your toes. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Drop, 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 okay? After you get to where you can do this 10 times in a holding pattern, okay, you don't have to do 100. Do 10 and hold it. Get to where you can hold your balance. After you've done that, then put your hand, one hand, see, opposite, opposite. I'm putting this hand here, and I'm just lifting my foot off the floor, okay? But this is here. It will make you use your foot in an entirely different way if you do that one little progressive move right here. See this? Tight tummy, drop my shoulders. This is here if I need it. This leg is front, this arm is up, and then I just release that back toe. See that? Take a big breath, then come back down, and then come back down, okay? So that simple of a move can help you tremendously with your movement patterning, especially if you have hip issues. Okay, you ready? The rest of the period now that we're spending together in my little class with you is going to be how to get yourself up off the floor so that you cannot make the commercial, or they won't seek you out to make the commercial, I've fallen and I can't get up. Yes, we can joke about it a little bit, but it's a serious thing. I am telling you. Oh, it's such a serious thing. Okay, here I am. Here's my chair, right? I have hip issues, right? I have whatever issues. I need to get in the floor to get something, or I'm in the floor and I have to get back up. So we're going to do both of those. So here's my chair. I'm going to put my hands on the chair and I'm going to do a split stance. Okay. Now I showed you how to roll up off of a couch in one of my previous sessions, but here we go. We can put our hands here, and you see the split stance? You should feel a stretch in your calf when you do this. Then you bring that back knee down, and now this is doable. Now some of you might have trouble on your knee. I know it. Well, this is where, if you can put a pad under you, this is when you do that, okay? This is why if you have something around that you can put under your knee, this will help you manage what we're about to do, okay? So you can be on your knees, you can come down, as we're getting into the floor, and I'm gonna roll. So I'm on my hands and knees. I'm gonna go to my elbows. I'm gonna do typically what's called a child's pose. I can only go a certain amount because of my replaced joints. Then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna act like I've fallen in the floor. I'm gonna rotate and come right down here. So now I'm all the way down on the floor and I've fallen into the floor, and what am I gonna do? Okay, well, number one, check and see if everything's okay. That's number one. This is where if you have a phone, that's a good thing. You can call somebody, but go from here to right up here to on my knees. Then I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna, this is my knee replace side, this is my hip replace side. I'm gonna go all the way down, see that? Then I'm going to, instead of going side to side, I'm gonna roll right down and I'm gonna put I'm gonna be in a prone position, okay? So this is down, I'm gonna really push my arms out. I'm gonna put my forehead down. Then I'm gonna bring those elbows back and I'm gonna bring them right here to the chest. I'm gonna drop my chin. I'm gonna start to tighten my rear end and I'm going to push with my toes. And I'm gonna push my butt back. So let's go back into that. So I'm right here. I'm gonna go right on down and get in a prone position. See? I'm gonna bring my hands out, put my forehead down, come back, put my hands right next to the chest, put my toes into the floor, push into my knees, and then push my butt back, okay? That's the first thing. You can do it that way, or you can roll over and go into the split stance, which is, what's the split stance? This is the split stance when you're on a kneeling situation. So if we get to here and we have a chair or a couch, you can lean into it, push, and bring it back in, okay? And then you're up. What if you have no chair? Now what do you do? Okay, now, mind you, everything I'm doing right now is in the mindset of, yeah, I'm putting a few more extra moves because I want to get you to move. One of the best ways to get you to increase your flexibility without hurting yourself is on the floor, if you can get down. So here I am, I'm gonna go wide stance. I have my chair here if I need it. I have my couch here if I need it, of course. I'm gonna come right into my 3-point stance, okay? Then I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna go back into my 3-point stance. I'm gonna take note of any kind of weird things going on with whatever joint. I wanna be able to go into a 3-point stance, push into the heels, come back up. I'm reaching down, I'm keeping my chin tucked. I'm taking a breath. I'm doing a 3-point stance. I'm coming up, and now I'm gonna go on down into what's called like a froggy squat. So I'm gonna go down, and we've done this many times. Put your hands down as far as you can go with them, and then walk yourself out and put those knees down. And this is where if you need to use your pad, put your pad under you. See, my feet are really stretching here, especially my toes, okay? Then I'm gonna come down to my elbows. I'm gonna take my knees out, lay totally down, and this is where I'm gonna do a little back and forth roll. You could do this in your bed. Everybody has their little rituals of getting up out of bed and going to bed. Add this a couple of nights a week. Lay down, roll, look up, then roll back. and you're right here, and it's going to make you a little dizzy. It's supposed to. That's okay. Why is that okay? Number one, you're not going to fall very far. So I hope you're laughing. Number two, if you get a little dizzy, take your time. Don't roll quite so quick, but I would say push it as much as you can. So here I am. You can roll one side or the other. It doesn't matter. You just pull and you roll. Once you've done that, you take one knee over, come back, take the other knee over, and come back. So it's just a great way to get spine, hip mobility happening. See this? Back and forth, and we did it all from a roll. Okay, you ready? So now I'm going to bring my leg over and I'm going to roll back. I am telling you, put it on your calendar. If you did just that, what I'm doing from your bed, you don't even have to get into the floor to do it. Do it for 2 weeks. I will tell you, you will notice that you'll be able to, after 2 weeks of doing this, that you will be able to roll without being quite as dizzy. That's the point. Okay, you ready? So we're going to go from this position, I've fallen and I can't get up, or we say I've fallen and I can get up. It'll just take me a little bit. Okay, so you go like this with your elbows, put your toes down. It's the same thing as the other way. Lift your butt, crawl yourself back. Okay, I can either be on my fist or my hands, but notice my feet. I've seen so many people do this with their legs here. I want your feet wide. I want them wide. Okay, put your really flex in your feet. Now put pressure as you lift your knees, and don't stand up. Stay right here until you equalize. Take a big deep breath and come back up. And you're ready to take those steps, right? As you check to see how you're doing, right? So let me tell you why I really am hammering on this today. My mom fell, telling the story, she would tell you. This was even a couple of years ago. She was out in her yard walking around. It was in the middle of the day in Oklahoma, very hot day, and she fell. She wasn't using a walker or anything. My mom laid in that front yard for 3 hours. She dragged herself over to bushes and sat under the bushes because she didn't know what I just showed you. And she didn't have enough confidence in herself to do that. That's why I'm hammering on this, because you don't know what's going to happen, do we? So I hope you did every one of them with me. All right, I'm going to take this off. Stop.